that man trying to pronounce Moses Moody was hilarious. Moses Moody had that man on the ropes. He was out there struggling. I was looking for somebody to save him. He was out there. Moose and Mo.
When you look at Modi Moody,
Mo Moody.
Modi,
Me's and Mo.
Moses, Modi,
In a minute, money Mo.
Moses, Modi,
Moses Moody.
Moses Moody.
Oh my goodness, yeah, bro.
Let me put you on game.
But let's talk the draft, bro. I just want to get into the highlights, the lowlights, the surprises. The draft is probably like my favorite time of the year. I love the draft. I don't know why. Yeah. I love, the college prospects, and I love, getting into seeing what they actually do in the league compared to what they did in college or what they did overseas. Before we get into the highlights, man, we got to talk about one thing, bro.
Yeah.
Kendrick Perkins, man. Like, him trying to pronounce Moses Moody for me was the highlight of the draft. That man trying to pronounce Moses Moody was hilarious. Moses Moody had that man on the ropes. He was out there struggling. I was looking for somebody to save him. He was out there. Moose and Mo.
When you look at Modi Moody,
Mo Moody.
Modi,
Me's and Mo.
Moses, Modi.
In a minute, money Mo.
Moses, Modi,
Moses Moody.
Moses Moody.
Oh my goodness, yeah, bro. Yes.
And they took a good 5 to 7 seconds to save him from himself. But yeah, Kendrick Perkins was for sure the highlight of the draft for me. What about you?
The highlight of the draft for me was, I would say, not a highlight, but just the awkwardness. Do you know how many players were wearing the wrong hats that night?
Yeah,
it was insane.
It's always weird.
So many trades, so many guys, hugging the commissioner, dapping him up, and that hat is going to change in a matter of minutes. And the audience in the draft doesn't know. Only us as the audience watching the draft as it happens awkwardly is aware of all these last minute trades. And I think that the NBA could definitely do a better job of tightening that up to make it so that the show happens a little more seamlessly and players are a bit more aware of who they're actually going to go to. Imagine you finding out, oh, I'm getting drafted by the Lakers, but you're going to end up in Minnesota instead.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sunny California to wintry Great Lakes. Yay.
And a completely different kind of organization,
Yeah. So that was definitely highlighted for me.
Yeah, it's weird. Especially even watching as an audience, it is hard to even keep track of the trades ourselves because it's like this person is picking for this organization. But like you said, they're wearing a different hat. The background is different. You're trying to keep track of who traded before the draft, who traded during, and of course, You're going to have people that are going to trade afterwards. So it's just a whole lot of confusion as far as how the draft is going. Another highlight as well, Terrence Clark's dedication, I thought was a good moment for the NBA. Unfortunate that, he wasn't able to be drafted because he passed away. But, he was probably projected to go late lottery or early mid first round. So it's a shame that he wasn't able to fulfill his promise. But let's get into winners and losers. Who was a team or a player that you liked as a winner coming out of the draft this year?
So this year I have a couple. So the Lakers, first of all, they stole the show in terms of just this trade happening an hour or so before the draft and just really becoming official. So they get the tweet storm steal and winner, as well as the G League, because they had 3 players in the top 31 selected, as well as 2 players in the top 7 between Kuminga and Jalen Green. And so when you look at that, you say, okay, the G League is actually a viable option. The players these top prospects that go to the G League are getting compensated quite well because Kuminga and Jalen Green were frosty in their draft outfits, etc. And they, they were looking really good. And I'm like, oh, these are not just like regular college kids. These are guys who, had a 500,000, 250K salary and, made some money for themselves in their developmental year. And so the G League is going to get a lot. Hopefully they get some more solid prospects, and it just adds some more competition to the schools as well as other organizations on how they develop players. And then, seeing like Josh Giddey becoming another international prospect from Australia. Australia is getting a lot of love too. So those are kind of the people I thought kind of won the draft. Yeah. How about you?
I got a couple too. I have the Raptors and Magic both as winners. I think that they both got players that fit really well. I think Scottie Barnes gives the Raptors a lot of switchability between him, OG, and Pascal. I think they're all multi-positional players, so that gives you a lot of options, especially defensively. Like if you consider how valuable a guy like OG is and how valuable a guy like Scottie Barnes is theoretically, I think that gives him a lot of versatility, especially defending all of these, really talented wings that you have in the league. I wouldn't have liked Scottie Barnes as much on the Magic because they have a lot of players of his archetype. Like whether you want to talk about like, like a Jonathan Isaac, like Mo Bamba's a different position, but they're famous for picking these like really long athletic guys that can't score. So, it wouldn't have been as good of a fit. But they get Jalen Suggs, who instantly is a game changer for them, and he immediately becomes their best guard. So that was a really good pickup for them, and I like what they did with Scottie Barnes. I like Charlotte's night. I thought they had a really good night. Picking up James Bouknight, he dropped a little. I think he was going as high as OKC at number 6 in some mock drafts. But to get him at the position that they did, I like his fit next to LaMelo Ball because he, Bouknight is a really excellent shot creator. And Kai Jones is actually a really good upside pick. I think he got picked at 19. Good effort guy, really good lob threat for LaMelo. He has some upside in terms of his ability to shoot the basketball. Great effort, like I said earlier. Zaire Williams, I think that he dropped a lot in a lot of mock drafts, but for him to get to Memphis, I think that he fits really well with that core and really well with Ja Morant. I think he's been poo-pooed on a little bit because of his bad college year, but the dude is 6'10", and he has a lot of potential as a tall wing scorer as well as a defender, as long as he can put on some weight. I got 2 more. I got the Pistons for very clear reasons. They picked up Cade #1. He's probably the best player in the draft. He has.
They didn't overcomplicate things.
It didn't. Yeah, he's the archetype that he is the most valuable player in the NBA. A big shot creator who can also create for others. It's kind of like, not that he is this player, but it's like the LeBron James, the Grant Hills, James Harden, Luka Doncic. Like it's all of these really big guys that you don't sacrifice size for and that can defend multiple positions theoretically, but can also give you some shot creation as well as creating for others. So I really like that pickup. And then lastly, I have the Rockets. I think they made really good use of the multiple first round picks that they had through trades. Jalen Green obviously is going to be a great player, even though I probably would have taken Evan Mobley in that spot. But they were able to get Alperen Şengün and Garuba. So great defender, great post scorer. They got a bunch of diverse kinds of prospects that can all be great fits down the line. So I liked all of those nights that they had, that these individual teams had. Who do you have for some losers on draft night?
I think this can segue into a conversation about our favorite teams. I think Bulls were one of the losers, as well as the Knicks. Bulls a little bit more pre-draft because the way the lottery system worked out, you guys kind of lost your top 4 pick. I think if it was top 4, you would have kept the pick, but because it fell out, you lost the pick entirely, which really stinks. And the Knicks, we just were, I don't know, I was disappointed. I think that overall, we got a decent haul in terms of the amount of picks. We got 4 players who are all pretty high motor, hustle, defensive-minded players, especially in guys like Grimes and McBride. and also Grimes and McBride are pretty good shooters and from the wing and guard positions respectively. But they had the opportunity to get, we had the opportunity to get lottery talent in late first round situation between Jalen Johnson, Keon Johnson, Cam Thomas, and we pretty much passed on all those players to get the guys that we got in the back end. I guess maybe the front office just wasn't in love with some of the red flags that some of those players had in terms of a Keon Johnson not being pretty raw, in terms of Jalen Johnson kind of quitting on Duke. You know, there's a lot of issues with the way that whole situation unfolded, as well as Cam Thomas being kind of a, I guess maybe a selfish player in some ways, but he was a lights out shooter and he put up buckets at LSU. So I was a little disappointed in them. But so it's like, yeah, I think we could have done better. Also the Spurs, I put the Spurs as kind of a loser because I'm like, Joshua Primo at 12 was really early and it looks like there were other better players, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't want to put them as losers because again, like, I don't know. Like, I have to see how, I think he's probably the youngest player in the draft. So I want to see what he looks like when he's like 21 rather than, how he looks at 18, 19. So I had Sharif Cooper as a loser of the draft. He dropped really far and he dropped to a team in the Atlanta Hawks where if you can't really play him and Trae Young at the same time because of size and defensive issues. So I just wonder what his fit is going to be like. So I think he could have went to a team where he would have gotten more of an opportunity. The Knicks I had as a loser because I don't know why, as a team that could grow through the draft, why they seem so determined to trade down. So it just seemed weird, but I mean, we'll see. The Kings, of course, we talked about that earlier, selecting Davion, who already has issues in terms of his size. Like, he can't play the two in the NBA feasibly and guard twos. Or maybe he can guard twos. He can guard twos. But like, I don't think that he's feasibly going to be a multi-positional player. So it just doesn't really make sense when you already have that many guards. So unless there's a trade, if there's a trade where they're trading Hield, or I've even heard rumors of them trading Fox, like, then that makes sense. But otherwise, like, I don't think it really makes sense in that situation. And I had the Warriors as well. Like, I like Muzamo, Mizamo, Izamo Muda. but I don't think Kuminga fits with their roster. I don't think it makes sense. I think the Warriors thrive on having really high IQ players that make the game easy for everyone around them. And I don't think that Kuminga is that player. I think he probably fits better elsewhere. I think that there was a smarter pick for them to make. But yeah, that's all I have on my winners and losers. We can probably revisit this video, a year from now and see like who's in the rookie of the year conversation, who's on all rookie first team and second team, and see like, if we're as wrong as these teams are sometimes. So that'll be interesting.
How about you? So in terms of a rookie of the year candidate, who do you got? Who's your number one, option in terms of rookie of the year projection at this moment right now?
Cade. Not necessarily because he's the most talented player, but because he's going to have the most opportunity. Like, it's with like, if you look at like LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards this past year, like, they had the most opportunity of any rookie to have the ball in their hands, and they had the highest usage rates. They had the most to do with the ball. So Cade will be their point guard most likely. He'll be bringing the ball up the court the majority of the time. He'll be asked to score the most because Detroit, outside of Jeremy Grant, does not have a better scorer than him. So he'll be asked to score a good amount, and he'll be asked to distribute because I don't know how ready Killian Hayes is. Oh, before I get into asking you your rookie of the year choice, I don't think the Bulls had that bad of a draft. I still like the Vucevic pickup. I think that he can still be a good player. I think that we have to see a full training camp, full off season from him. I like, let's say we didn't make the trade and we just stayed at 8. Like, I don't think the value is really any that much higher. I would rather have Vucevic than have Wendell Carter in the 8th pick. So, and if we kept the pick this year, that would have just moved it to where we gave it up next year, you know? So it's like it's fine. If the Bulls don't make the playoffs next year, then yeah, we lost the trade. And I think that Io Desunmu is a very good value at the 38th pick. I like that kid. He has a lot of heart. So if he can, second round picks are they're very hit or miss, more so than the first round. But if you got a second round pick, if they can just give you 10 to 15 minutes a game of valuable play and not hurt your team, like I think that's a win from a second round pick. So who's your rookie of the year pick?
I got a dark horse in Jalen Suggs, man. I think that he's a baller. I think that he has that winning mindset, and I think that he's gonna go to the six and really, not to the six, the opposite of the six, the deep south in Orlando. He's gonna go to the swamplands and really turn up. I believe in Suggs. I think that Markelle Fultz being out and Cole Anthony, him being seemingly better than Cole Anthony, I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity as well to shine. Yeah. And in a young Orlando Magic team that's looking for someone to really just take the reins and take the team to the next level. And I think he's going to get the opportunity to do that. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah, he's another player that's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. So yeah, probably between Suggs and Cade. That's a really good pick. That's a really good pick.